Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Donovan here from Sweden today again. Today I'm gonna be reaching out a little bit more about our last conversation. I want to still send a shout out today to Fly Jamaica and Mr. Paul Rees, one of the great entrepreneurs that's out there from the Caribbean. But yeah, today I want to touch base a little bit regarding some matters that I really find to be pretty much annoying, I believe, in the matter of in terms of business going to the Caribbean from the Scandinavian countries. As I said, I've been putting a lot of work behind it, and I've been putting a lot of details, searching for details, trying to find out what's driving the market in terms of tourism from the Scandinavian countries. And living in Sweden myself, loving Sweden, it's a fantastic country. There's a lot going here for a lot of people that lives in the Scandinavian countries. But when you talk about the Scandinavian countries, these Scandinavians have a tendency to travel a lot. It doesn't mean that just because they're making great living here, that means they're going to want to spend a lot of money out there. They go to, in the summertime, for instance, let's just talk about summer. Summertime from Scandinavia, a lot of Scandinavian they go to Spain, they go to Cyprus, they go to Greece. They go to all these Mediterranean countries. And, the cost for them there is much cheaper. Yes, you can book a cheaper flight to go to the Mediterranean, which is great. I've been there myself, been there many times. Spain, Mallorca, we call it. Mallorca, which is another island outside Spain. As I said, Cyprus, all these different countries. But the difference is when you come to those countries, you can book your flight, you buy a very inexpensive ticket, and you fly there. Then you can book your hotel. There's a vast amount of hotels in the Mediterranean where you can stay. You fly down there inexpensive, and you live down there inexpensive for several, like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's up to you. But naturally, if you want to have more exclusive trips, hotels, you choose that too. But to get back to when you talk about winter also happens to be a very big business for travel companies coming out of Sweden. And as I said before in my last video, that one of the companies that is working the market in the Caribbean, I should say, to Jamaica, is Wing. And I'm very mad that the business that's going to Jamaica is only going to the major corporation, such as Sandals. A bunch of them. If you're from Jamaica, you know these guys down there. They're controlling the market. And yes, you do a lot of advertisement here in the Scandinavian countries. But what you find that the majority, or should I say, travels there, are the clients that are making very high salaries. In Scandinavia, you do make a good living, but they go to the Sandals, they go to the Hiltons, they go to all these bigger guys, which are having corporation in the U.S., which basically the money never really stays in the country. Yes, a few Jamaicans do get employment, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. But there's still a vast amount of market for small hotel chain in Jamaica, and there's a lot of them with less, I should say, inexpensive cost, great service that can employ more staff in the Caribbean. Yes, there is another market coming from the US, which happens to be one of the biggest market for Jamaica. Always been, always will. I notice also Asia has been becoming a very big market for the Caribbean also, which is great. But come back to Sweden now. As I said, one of the carriers that was also, there was 2 carriers going to the Caribbean 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And that was one of them was Tutti. And they decided to pull out because they weren't making enough profit on that travel from the Scandinavian. And simply because everyone is basically watching their pocketbook today, how much they spend. Everybody wants to get a bargain. It's natural. We're human. That's what we do as human. But if you remove that market from a market that is relying on that market to come to your country, you have to naturally remove employers, or should I say, not employee, but employees. And every time you remove an employee from that type of industry, you're not only moving one, you're moving, let's say, 5 employee from different aspects, different companies that will affect families in Jamaica. Yes, I've been away from Jamaica for over 30 years. As I said, I travel a lot. I'm settled in Sweden. When I first left left the U.S., or should I say Jamaica, excuse me. Back in '85, I was 17 years old, young. That's my parents wanted to do. They moved us to the U.S. Lived there a very long time. Love it. Travel a lot in the U.S. also, thanks to what I was doing back then. And now I live in Scandinavia. I travel to the Scandinavia and travel all over Europe. Love it also. And as I said, settle in a very good life in Scandinavia today. But there's still people in Jamaica that are struggling. And then that's everywhere. It's nothing new, and I'm sure it's not going to be nothing strange later on down the road. But my thing here is that if I can find people out there that's willing to join me to make this happen, I assure you that there is something together we can do to make this happen. I want to show you a few things that I've been looking at. There's an article in Atlantic Link. Excuse me for a second. Global Vision, local focus. I got this actually from Britain, from the Jamaican Tourist Board. And it shows me the statistics of what's happening across the board in Jamaica. And I want to take you guys straight to this chart. You can go into, as I said, go into the link, or should I say, go into the website Atlantic Link that will show you guys who is the main dominance in the Jamaican market today. You see the US is the biggest. Then you go to Asia. Thailand. And the rest you can see here, but nothing from the Scandinavian countries. It's all there on Atlantic Link. If you Google them, you'll find this chart. On this other side here, you can see is Scandinavia. 5 countries, 4 countries, actually 5 countries. There's Greenland, Iceland, but you don't really count those. But you're talking Sweden, you're talking Finland, you're talking Norway, you're talking Denmark. These are few of the richest countries in the world today in Europe. And they're doing mighty, mighty well. But as I said, there's still families that wants to travel to the Caribbean, but instead of coming to the Caribbean, they go to Thailand because they can get cheaper flights to go to Thailand. And because of that, it makes me very, very upset to see that these same guys that was coming to Jamaica, they're getting the fares, they're moving that customer to Thailand instead of keeping it in Jamaica, which means they're taking money from you, Jamaicans. And that's not right. I don't, corporation, that's what they do. You can't stop corporation because when a corporation decides to make changes, it can affect millions, but they always look at one thing, their pocketbook, period. My goal is to bring that market back to you. This is why, as I said, I talked to Fly Jamaica, and I've gotten an agreement with them. Haven't been signed yet because, as I said, last year, 2017, I really put a lot of energy behind it, try to find a company that will join me to do this. But again, corporation, they think differently, and if they don't see the value of it, they won't do it. And if it's not enough profit in it for them, they won't do it. But what I've come to realize is that I've looked into the costs. The main thing we're looking at is to fill Mr. Reed's plane for 6 months out of the year, which is the winter season. And thanks to him, the information I've gathered, costs, what it costs to do it. When we talk about airline, airport costs, every little cost you can possibly think of, we figure it out. And we have gotten the price down to where we can sell tickets in Sweden to do this. And we can bring a lot of flight back to the Caribbean, to the local hotels, not to the bigger hotels, because we're not interested in working with the big hotel. If they decide they want to work with us, that's another thing. But our main goal is to fill those beds back in Jamaica for the local office, the local hotels around Jamaica. There's a lot of hotels there on the coastline, even in the countryside. And I assure you, they would appreciate this particular business coming back to them. That's the Airbus we're talking about, 747. We have looked at the airport where we can fill the plane. We can fly out of Sweden, which is right there. This is called Skavsta in Stockholm. That's where we're looking to fly from. As I said, we have all the costs. We even have the flight chart. Everything you can possibly think of, we have been putting a lot of energy, work behind it in order to get this going. But we need help. And it's not going to happen overnight. I really look forward to comments from you viewers out there in the world to see how you can participate in getting this done with us. as I said, I did put a few information below to show you some costs. And I'm looking to find regular consumers. You don't have to fly with Jamaica. You can be anywhere in the world today and be a part of this. And we need your investment. We're looking for you to come and invest. And if you can come in and invest and help us do this, we can take this thing to another level. You earn money off of it. We naturally earn some money off of it. But we can bring, as I said, close to 4,000 passengers every 6 months to Jamaica. And that will refill a lot of beds in Jamaica. That will give a lot of families a lot of jobs in Jamaica. Back to the hotel industry, back to the tourism industry. We're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of business back to the Caribbean, back to Jamaica. I'm looking forward to your comments. I'm looking forward to hear from anyone. I've also heard from a few people before on my first video, and I really thank them for reaching out. They said I didn't put a number there. Today I put a number there so you can actually see my number. Leave a message. If you really want to get a hold of me, send me an email. My email is below the comments. You will find my email. Send me an email. If you have any questions, you can also put it on the chat. Really looking forward to hearing from you. And if you have any question whatsoever, reach out. I'll be glad to answer anyone's question. I can also specify why I wrote the information I included below my text. So, great. I thank you for watching this video and hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.